What's up, guys? Welcome to another video of DevTalks with your host Travian, where we talk about everything engineering and technology. In this video, we're going to be talking about AI impacting teachers and students in the classroom. This is another one of these videos, so without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let's dive right in.
Back to school week continues here on CBS Mornings, and a tricky subject today, the rise of artificial intelligence in classrooms. Advocates say it's going to be a helpful tool for kids and for teachers alike. Others say it discourages kids from thinking on their own, critically, that is. Nancy Chen spoke to teachers and a tech executive about what's next, including a new partnership that could launch a fresh chapter in education.
I put 2 books in there, and it puts it into a podcast. And it's literally 13 minutes of information about the Boston Tea Party.
Jerome Ong uses AI tools every week in his 5th grade Ridgewood, New Jersey classroom.
You have to find what works for your students.
Has it changed the way you approach teaching?
Absolutely. They're reading a book and ultimately listening to it at the same time. So when I play the audio.
Have you ever heard of a party where, like, the main event was chucking something super valuable right into the water?
Ong says he teaches what AI is and where it falls short.
Like if you
Teachers like this are amazing to me. And this goes broad behind way past teaching for what he said right there, right? The reason why he's amazing as a teacher is he adapts to what works best to his students for learning. And he said it there. Whatever helps my students the best for them to learn, I'm going to adapt and use it and set up things so that I can provide them with whatever is necessary for them to be successful. And the reason why I said this goes beyond teaching is because the best sports franchises, the best businesses, and everything else, they change stuff, like they change things to work around their people. Like for sports, for instance, my favorite team is the Philadelphia Eagles. They built a team around Jalen Hurts and everybody else around the defense. They built the defense around people who are compatible with each other, who've been playing with each other for years, who are familiar with each other, and build a team that is able to work together because they have that experience together. They know what works. Hey, you work better with these players, I'm going to go grab these players. You lack at this ability, I'm going to go grab this player. It's the same thing for teaching as it is with any other business of making sure, if you're the person at the top, making that executive decision on knowing what works best for those around you and those that you're trying to help and building on top of it all. It is.
keep at it and say, no, you're wrong, eventually AI will say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And doing that with your class can show you that AI isn't really as smart as you think it is.
It almost sounds like you're teaching AI literacy in all of this, too.
Right.
Artificial intelligence is...
And maybe there needs to be an AI literacy course. Maybe English teachers or some other teacher needs to teach an AI literacy section in their classwork as part of the curriculum. Especially early on in the kid's life. I like this at 5th grade because you're getting ready to go into middle school. It's not like you're super young. I probably wait until sixth grade, right into middle school, to start teaching stuff like this on how to actually use it for the students themselves. But if teachers in elementary schools want to use this to better their students, I completely agree with that use.
top of mind in most fields, and many educators have been teaching themselves how to use it. But this summer, Microsoft, OpenAI, and Anthropic announced a first-of-its-kind plan to train hundreds of thousands of members of the American Federation of Teachers, or AFT, the nation's second-largest teachers union.
What really drew you to this partnership?
I think if we're going to make AI work for students, for kids, we need to listen to teachers.
Microsoft President Brad Smith.
It can, I think, change the way teachers work in ways that empower teachers, gives them more information, makes it easier in terms of preparing for classes, thinking about how to put together lesson plans.
In one recent survey, teachers reported saving an average of nearly 6 hours a week with AI. But critics cite cheating concerns and Microsoft's own research, which showed a self-reported decline in critical thinking skills when AI was not used responsibly.
We have a huge opportunity to learn from the last 15 years in, say, social media. None of us appreciated what could go wrong. Let's go into an AI era with our eyes wide open.
This is a way to get profits.
Former high school teacher and AFT member Lois Weiner says teachers would be better served by more support within schools than by an alliance with Silicon Valley.
There is so much drudgery in the job. But the answer to that is to improve the conditions of teachers' work.
Does this do that?
Absolutely not.
How?
She's wrong. There's a saying called "you can't teach an old dog new tricks." Some people are just aged out of the time. Obviously, you look at the other guy, right? He's way younger. He's moldable. He looks at what works best for his students, and he sees what works best for his students. These are pre-K to 12, to 12th grade level schools. These are not universities. So things are going to have to change. Like, that's like saying, like, hey, teachers, we're not using, they still, I don't know, a lot of people may not get this reference. None of the kids now know what those projectors were with the clear slick, the plastic pieces of things. You had these clear plastic like sheets that were the size of paper that you put on the projector, and you would have these markers that your teacher or you would write on, and they would either have math problems on them or they could be blank or whatever, and you put them on the projector and they will project it on the screen. And then, you know what was easier than that? And going through all those sheets and having to move it around and align it on the projector screen. Some people know what I'm talking about. So if you know what I'm talking about, tell me in the comments below. If you know what I'm talking about, them little plastic clear sheets of paper you used to move around the projector screen back in the day. I remember them before we got smart boards. Smart boards made it so much easier for teachers, for students. It's made it so much easier. You don't have to worry about your marker running out of ink. You know how many times I had to go up to the front and the marker ain't even work? That was embarrassing, yo. It's just working for you. My teacher. You give me the marker and now it don't want to work. It's embarrassing. Alright, but literally, like, times change. You have to be able to adapt and grow. To sit here and say it doesn't help in any aspect, or no, to give that straight face answer and say no, this old dog can't be taught new tricks. That's just how it is sometimes. Some just can't. Some people just can't work that way. They don't understand. They probably aren't good enough to change their curriculum to do so. And they need help. But here's some things. They talk about critical thinking and stuff. Google just partnered with a school in Dayton County. I believe it was Dayton County, wherever. Something county like that. I have a video up on my channel from a few weeks ago. You can see it up. Gemini working with the schools, everything. When you actually look through how it did it, the school version of the AI takes out giving the straight answers to students to allow them to still critically think through their issues and their problems, and still being taught by those teachers on how AI can be wrong. The reason why they are not critically thinking is because they are not using the school versions for AI that do not exist yet. They're just using these versions that are just already out there in the willy-nilly, using whatever public information that allows them to build relationships with these bots that ends up with students hurting themselves because it's happened several times already, instead of using the curriculum or using the AI that's part of the curriculum, because you're not working with these Silicon Valley people who could prevent some aspects of this in a sense if the schools adopted it. And I'm not going to go too deep into all of that today. I've talked about this in other videos and got deeper into this in other videos, so please go check them out. They're on the channel. They're recent. I have a lot of school videos. They're in the playlist in the description down below. That I believe they should be closer to the top rather than the bottom. I believe new videos go up top. I'll double check that later. But I'm being serious. They have the school versions that don't get trained off children's information and all that.
Would you respond to those who say that education should be left to the teachers and not to tech companies?
I think education must be left to teachers. Those of us in the tech sector need to provide the tools and empower the school boards and districts and teachers so they decide how to put those tools in practice.
Ong says
Exactly.
if AI is already here.
Let's try to figure this out to help our kids continue to learn and grow.
This $23 million investment will go toward virtual and in-person trainings right here in New York City. The union's president said the connection between a teacher and their kids can never be replaced by new technologies, but if we learn how to set common sense guardrails, teaching and learning can be enhanced. It is remarkable.
And that's exactly true. Technology has always grown in the classroom. What happened when COVID happened? Everybody got their own laptops. I remember we never did schoolwork on a computer before. I remember them days. You couldn't even get on a laptop to do schoolwork. Now what happens? Schoolwork's available on a computer. Students have it some type of way. You can do your homework on a computer, especially for the math textbooks. They got like Math Lab or something like that. I remember being in college and I had to still pay for my textbook, but all the homework was done online. Where back in the day, you had to pay for the textbook and you had to do the stuff by hand. Or in the book. Do you not see how things change and sometimes make stuff better at sometimes? You just have to be able to teach these children appropriately. You have to be able to adapt as a teacher. And the ones who can't do it aren't good teachers, probably. The best people around the board, maybe they're good teachers. I don't want to say that. I want to say they're not the best teachers. Because overall best people are the people who can adapt, problem solve, work their ways around, know what works for the people who they're serving, and things to that degree. You can still be a good teacher. You may not be the best. And you can tell the difference between it. And you know who will tell you the truth? I just did a video where we went on Rate My Professor and looked at the one professor that didn't want AI used in his classroom at all. And he doesn't have anything new updated on there for 2025. But he has some stuff from 2024, said he was great and things like that. But the students themselves, they talk about who the good teachers are, the best teachers are in the school. That I guarantee you, the school knows. The other teachers know who the best teachers are. Favorite teachers are favorite teachers for a reason. It's not always because they give out the easiest work. Sometimes it could be. Some teachers are more relatable and cooler. But some teachers are better teachers to these children. And that's why children gravitate to them or want to take their class, because their classes are better. They learn better in those classes. The teachers do more stuff for them to be able to learn. They make it more exciting. I've taken chemistry classes in high school. I've taken science classes all across the board, right? And I've had different experiences with 3 specific science teachers. Actually 4. In my high school, my freshman year, I had a science teacher. The class was just okay, right? Just a normal class, kind of boring. You know, the teacher wasn't really personable at all. Just went up, did his work, and then occasionally came around. Sophomore year, class was way better. Our teacher was way more personable to us. We got the work done. Class was good. I'm an honor student. Nothing's going to be extremely that hard, right? Junior year, we couldn't even understand our teacher. It was so terrible. It didn't matter how much she tried to help us better, whatever. The class was terrible. Nobody liked the teacher at all. And the other teacher that the other juniors had, nobody liked that teacher either. So junior year, all the juniors didn't like either one of their science teachers. Their science teachers was terrible on both ends of the spectrum. I ain't giving out no names, but the people who know me, if they ever see this video, they'll know who I'm talking about. Senior year, I had a teacher that taught the AP classes and everything like that for, I don't know if it was chemistry. Was it chemistry? I forget what class it was, but it was a very complex, more complex science class. It was the most complex one there. He taught AP for it. I believe it's AP chemistry, and we took that chemistry class. And that teacher was not only personable, but he was able to articulate the teaching so much better across the board. He could do certain stuff like that. There's some teachers that make their classes fun to be able to explain and articulate to the students so that they're able to learn and know. Those are the teachers who make the best teachers all across the board. How relatable are you, and how well can you articulate the work that you're given? And if those 5th graders can't read a whole book about the Tea Party, Boston Tea Party, hey, how can we give the information to them? But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate everybody who tunes in. I really appreciate it. Like, you guys have no clue at all. If you have any suggestions, send me an email at devtalkspod@gmail.com. Without further ado, peace. See y'all next time.